Another exciting episode of the Bud Rebel Show is about to come, starting very soon. But what makes this more exciting, if you watch my last one, there was a person that was in the sky, let's say. And this is a person who has to be on the ground. So we're going to have a very interesting guest for this Bud Rebel Show. The Bud Rebel Show, as you know, we do our weird facts. We do our leadership. We have ways you can make money. We have ways you can lose money. we have things you hate, business ideas, investment thoughts. It's just a lot of fun stuff. But again, my guest today is really on the ground and has to be on the ground. Otherwise, he's in trouble. So, Giovanni,
yes.
Giovanni. He is. I was just driving by.
Yep.
And I'm like, there's a ball in the middle of the mall.
Yeah.
And I saw a motorcycle. And I'm like, wait a minute.
You caught me practicing. I saw you from right over there. You were watching me go. I was just testing everything out because we just set it up, and it seems like you were very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to meet the person behind, let's say, the bike. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you travel around the country doing this, correct?
Absolutely, across the country and across the world.
Across the world.
Yes.
So how'd you get started in this?
My family goes way back into show business and the circus arts. I'm an 11th generation circus performer myself. My family's owns the circus tents and a lot of different shows now that are spread across the country. There's one in California at the moment. There's one going across the Midwest. There's one in Florida, and this one here up in New York. It's a big family business, pretty much.
So you're part of the family business, in other words.
Absolutely, yeah.
So 11 generations, but you decided to go into the motorcycle arts part of it.
I did.
And when was that? That decision made?
I was 7 years old in my grandfather's
7
property.
years old.
I was 7 years old,
Okay.
and I saw my cousin practicing. My cousin, he was a little bit older than me, and I saw him go around, and I told my uncle I wanted to do that.
Any family reservations about it?
I mean, we talked about it, and he told me all of the problems that can happen if I try to do it. But within the next 2 hours, I had a helmet, I had a bike, and he taught me how to do it. He taught me how to go around just that day in the next 2 hours, and then I was hooked on it ever since.
So wait, you're 7 years old, and I don't think you have your driver's license.
No, definitely not.
Where were you from? Where are you from when this first started happening?
Originally, I am from Florida. The entire family business is based out of Florida, Mayaca City. It's just outside of Sarasota, Florida. There's pretty much my entire family lives there, and they all have their businesses based out of Florida. But of course, we travel throughout the year, so we're not going to be in Florida all the time. We're maybe there 2 months out of the year.
So you've been traveling since you were 7 years old. This is really
On and off, yes.
wow, with your family
Yes.
and school and all that stuff. How does that come about?
Ooh, so growing up, I've had to go between homeschooled and going to private schools. So if we were in a spot for 2-3 months, like we did Santa's Enchanted Forest, and that's a pretty long spot, I would go to the private school in Miami. So schooling, it wasn't that big of an issue. My mom, she really helped homeschool.
Homeschool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So socializing is the circus.
Pretty much. It's kind of hard to make friends, but I meet some very interesting people along the way.
What's the furthest your circus has gone?
Ooh, I think my cousin's family, the farthest they've gone is Trinidad and Tobago, but they've also worked in Jamaica. My cousin's family, the Tony Murcia, he's the one that owns the show. His family, they've worked in Japan.
Wow.
So it's really hard to keep track of. I'm not gonna lie.
You take these big vehicles. I guess.
Oh yeah, they'll ship it. They'll put it on the ship and they'll ship it off.
Wow.
This show right now is brand new for 2024. It just debuted in February, I believe. Was the first time anyone has ever seen the show. So there's a lot of we're still working on it. It's still in the workshop.
Are you talking about the motorcycle show?
This show right here, Cirque Cyber.
There's all new stuff here.
This is a new idea, a new concept.
What's the
the
concept?
acts are separate, but everything is put together in a new concept and a new theme.
Oh wow, what's the theme?
So it's a futuristic. They try to make the cyber theme, Cirque Cyber. So it's all the classic circus acts with the modern twist and with modern elements and a lot of electronic music and just futuristic, an actual story, a theme.
Oh wow, that's cool. So every show, there's a different theme they have, I guess. Different themes
Yes.
every time they do this.
Pretty much everyone's pretty different.
And how do they make money in the show? How do they make money in this whole thing? You have to pay for everything you go when you. It's free to get in here.
So we do make deals with whoever books us and brings us in, and that is how the show gets paid and how our performers get paid.
So there's some agency that books your show moving from place to place.
We can book it ourselves, or we work with an agency. Yes.
Okay, and where do you go next, by the way?
After here, we're going to Washington State for the Northwest Washington Fair.
Wow, it's gonna be a lot of traveling.
Yeah, 3,000 miles. Yep.
You live in your vans, I guess, right? Basically, where do you go?
Live in the RVs. Yep, and we drive with the trucks and the trailers by ourselves. We don't hire anyone. So
now you do specifically this motorcycle act.
I do the motorcycle act.
And you, as other people, or you do alone?
I do it with my cousin. He also can do it, and we do 2 bikes together. My cousin's wife, Elvira Murcia, she will stand in the center, and I'll ride around her.
Oh, that's
see
nice.
How close I can get.
Now, if they get in a fight beforehand, then they probably could motorcycle even closer.
We try to separate work from personal life. You know, you can be fighting and all you want back here, but as soon as you go out there and in front of 100 people, hundreds of people, sometimes 1,000, you have to put on a smile.
Right.
You know?
Now, is there any incidents that people got hurt or was close that we know or anything like that?
All the time. All the
really?
time. Our job is to take risks. Everything you see, we are trained professionally, and we try to minimize those risks. But anything can happen. We're not ruling it out.
Like when you're going around on top.
I can do that, yeah.
And when that happens, is the gravity. You have to do it so fast so that you don't.
Centripetal force is really what makes the globe act work. It keeps you on the side, and once you go fast enough, same way you put like water in a bucket and you swing the bucket around your head, the water's not going to pour out.
Oh.
That's what keeps you in
Little
there.
Science there, very good.
So yeah, but before you ever want to go in there, you want to check everything. You want to check your globe, make sure all the bolts are in place, nothing's loose, nothing's shifting. You check your bikes, your tire pressure, your gas, because a lot of people for some reason they forget the gas. And that's the last thing you want to do is run out of gas while you're upside down and you lose all your power. Boom. And you crash down.
Anything like that ever happen?
Not to me personally, because there's a lot of higher ups, my parents, my grandparents, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, they all really instill that into you from a young age that you want to check everything to be absolutely safe. But I've had incidents where my chain slips. It slips off the tire, it slips off in the motor, and I lose all power. But you're trained to come down safely from that most of the time.
Well, we're going to hear more crazy stories after this little break. Can you tell us some weird stories, things that are a little out, people never expect?
A lot of incidents do happen when performing. The show must go on. That's an old saying. It's been passed down traditionally for many, many lifetimes. There's a lot of things that can happen and you don't realize it as a spectator, but for a performer, we're really freaking out. One of them, I don't know how I did not crash or how my mom did not crash, because her and I were riding together.
You and your mom?
My mom was riding with me, and we were doing 2 bikes, and there's this one trick that we like to do called cross, where we'll cut high on one side, and then the other rider will cut high on the other side, and it makes like this X. For some reason, something happens. We went a little too high, and we actually hit helmets at the very top.
Wow.
Really hard. It twisted my helmet over.
How?
It twisted her helmet over. It completely blocked our vision. Somehow we did not crash, though, because we were trained in that. Mm-hmm.
Everyone heard the big crack?
There was a recording somewhere, and you can hear the crack, but no one actually realizes that it happens.
Right.
We recover, we go back to the equator line, and we let go with one hand and fix our helmets and continue on with the show. But that was a very, very scary moment that no one really sees.
And, I guess that could be really very, very dangerous. Hitting each other directly in the head. Did you hurt afterwards that?
I was not hurt. I think my mom kind of pulled her muscle a little bit, but that was it.
You said the show must go on, but if someone gets hurt,
if someone gets hurt, there is a line where you do have to stop the show and bring it out and let everyone know that this happens. There is something wrong. because you have to be completely honest and transparent with your crowd. There's been one time where I had to do that. I had to experience that, and it was, I did crash in there, and I had split my finger in multiple different ways. It was really gross and really bad. It was in Miami, and that was one of the times where we had to shut off the show while I was being rushed to the hospital.
Did you want to get right back on the bike after that? Or
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's not any different.
Than getting falling off the horse, I guess I say.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's always but the thing is, there's always a little bit of a reservation, maybe, about doing something after that. You know, like just recently, I don't know how when this comes out, the president was shot.
Yes, I saw that yesterday.
And I'm wondering his reaction about going up there again. Is he going to be looking a little bit more? Is he going to and being an incident like this, does it make you like a little bit, not like that's example gunshot, but does it make you a little bit more wary of like my finger or anything else? It's like leave a mark on a fear that.
Well, on many different ways. Physically, I had to relearn how it feels with this hand, because I lost a lot of ability in my finger. So I had to relearn how to use it. Same way, if someone loses their finger in daily life, you have to relearn how to hold a mug or something like that.
Right.
So there was more practicing involved to get back to the point where I was. Emotionally, it was very scary, but you have to realize that anything can happen to you at any given moment. All you can do is take precaution. Driving, you drove here.
Yes.
Anything can happen on the road.
It's true, but I'm not driving upside down.
You're right. But you know what I mean. You
ever nauseous driving upside down?
Nauseous?
I get nauseous from these road rides I go on the side. So
yes, yeah.
I get motion sickness.
Sun. I don't get motion sickness. It's something that you do learn to cope with.
And how long do you do this? How long period of time? You start? What time does the show start?
Well, the show itself is a half hour, so my act is the finale act. It's the finished one. It's the one with the most energy. I personally ride 5 to 8 minutes, and that's about my max before I get really, really tired.
And so you do that. You do the whole. What do you do the rest of the day then?
For the rest of the show, I'll be back here. I'll be doing backstage work, like audio, and keeping an eye out on everything else for that exact reason. Anything can happen. I have to make sure that if Tony's walking in the Wheel of Destiny, because that's one of the other acts, that big contraption over there.
Oh,
if he's
the
walking
Wheel of
in
Death here too.
It's the Globe of Death and the Wheel of Destiny.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
And what is it? What is the Wheel of Death?
It's a big pendulum, pretty much, and he'll go in and he'll fight the weights and gravity, and he'll do some pretty cool tricks in there. He can do the blindfold, jump rope. He'll go on the outside, and he's over 35 feet in the air.
Wow.
With no kind of safety or anything. It's actually, to me, it's more scary than riding in the Globe.
Both seems pretty scary. What time are these shows, by the way?
Here, these shows are at 7 and 9 on the weekday, and
7 and 9 at night.
Yes, at night. And then on the weekends, we'll do 4, 7, and 9. But that's only for right now at the Palisades Mall.
Right. We're going to do some weird facts when we get right back. Okay, got some weird facts for you. Something they may not know. The show Star Trek was originally called Wagon Trek. And it was billed as a space western.
That's very interesting.
I know a lot of Trekkie people out there, and they probably go with it. It is very. I haven't watched Star Trek, but I know. Oh, here's another one, a little bit your age. Xbox was originally named Project Midway when they were making it up.
I've heard about that.
Really, very good. Well, it wasn't so weird for you. Okay.
I'm a big Xbox fan.
So one of the qualities that people are looking for with leadership is toughness. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it is something that is needed, but empathy and sensitivity is also very important, and every emotion is important, and every moral and value is important in moderation. And
then I was also say that now with the presidential election is also the idea of being willing to test your mind, willing to take the cognitive test to make sure you have the ability to do the job. I mean, any of the leaders should have that ability.
I do think that there should be a test in place for cognitive ability like that, but I believe everyone is capable if you are brought up in that environment.
Right. And I think so maybe they should make it as a requirement that you have to take a test once a year or so to make sure you have the mental capacity, and that should be open to everybody what the results are, so we know what our leadership is, instead of like everything's so secretive, it's weird. One of the issues that comes up is government versus personal responsibility. How much do we want government to tell us what to do versus our own free will? And such what you did at 7 years old, deciding to ride a motorcycle. Government could say, you know what? He's 7 years old, he should get an education, he should get a background, he should do this and that. You were given the freedom to do that, which is unusual in some ways.
It is kind of unusual in some ways, but this is the United States of America, and originally this was the land of opportunity and the land of land of the free. I'm struggling a little bit to answer that question because everyone has their own opinions on things. Personally, I think doing this at such a young age is definitely very different, but we know the law. We know what things are safe for a kid to do and what's not safe for a kid to do. All you have to do is you have a phone. You can Google search it. There's plenty of online help about it. Education is very important, and my mom made that very clear, that education and social ability is very important. So we didn't take anything away from that doing this. Nothing was really taken away. It was just added.
That's just, your family, everyone has their own thing. Like some people want to be able to eat what's it called? There was at one point, there was like a 2-liter soda, Coke. The government tried to stop people from drinking it. Or there's certain type of cigarettes, menthol cigarettes. If people want to smoke, they're trying to take away that right. I don't know. I just feel like the government should lay off us and let people do what they want to some degree once they reach a certain age. Or the family basically says it's okay. That's my personal opinion about it. Okay. I also think another very important issue is the treatment of veterans and those people that serve our country. Depending on what's going on, the issue is how we treat them when they come back and after they retire and stuff. It's got to be better.
So my mom is a retired gunnery sergeant for the Marines.
Oh, wow.
She did leave the performing life for about, I think somewhere between 15 and 20 years to pursue that, because she was very interested in the military. And the way she is being treated, I think it's pretty good. She has a lot of benefits from it, and she was very happy from her time serving in Iraq. And
thank you for service, please.
Yeah, thank her.
Yeah.
And for all of the logistics side that she handled. I don't really... Again, this is only my point of view, too, because that's all I knew.
Right.
Was my mom being a gunnery sergeant. I didn't know what it's like to for anyone else to be one. Only my mom, and my mom has really liked her time doing it.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem right now is the people that come out with mental health, and they don't give them enough help for some people that need a little bit more, and that's why you find out them on the streets or on drugs and stuff like that. That's been ignored a little too much, and sometimes maybe they need to get counseling even right after it and get that type of thing, because I see a lot of people who are wandering and don't know what to do because it's so much pain. I mean, you see things up close, sometimes it's very difficult for certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. Counseling is available for everyone, though. You don't have to be suffering to have counseling. I have counseling. My mom has counseling. My brother has counseling. A lot of our family members have counseling just because it's good to
have someone to talk to.
To have someone talk to you and to be emotionally aware about yourself.
Yeah, that's something true. All right, I'm going to have a fun topic before I'm going to be talking about hate. The things that I hate. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I hate the circus. I'm just joking. I hate when people blame you for things that you didn't do.
Yeah,
I can't stand that. You didn't even do them, and you're getting blamed for them, and you don't even know how to. You can't even react to it.
I can't stand that. I can't explain the anger that makes me.
Another thing I hate, which is going to be very controversial, I'm warning you, is I hate American cheese. I like Swiss cheese, cheese. I love our country, but Americans do not make good cheese.
No, provolone cheese is
any
my
cheese
favorite.
other than American cheese. It's not even cheese, really.
I don't. It's something. That's
what it is, right? It's funny you mentioned about therapists. So one of my business ideas was an entertainment therapist. And an entertainment therapist would be a person that would help you find your entertainment goals. For example, I am trying to find the Mets game through any of my streaming networks, and I have no idea what the less expensive way to do it. I can't watch any of the Met games. But I mean, you could find out, an entertainment therapist could say, okay, you like this type of genre and this type of music or this type of event, and they would help you go to the things that you can do without wasting your time on things that you may not like. Maybe open the doors by understanding more about you and trying to find
an entertainment therapist. That would be pretty cool.
Right?
That would be pretty nice, because there's some things that I do need help with that just Google won't help.
No, that's the wild, right? So are you planning to do this business for the rest of your life? Are you going to expand on it? What is your thought about this, by the way?
Growing up, I was told that it would be passed on, but I also have free will. I don't know if this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. I have great business ideas with it, and I have a lot of experience in it, so it would be no problem for me to continue this. But there's so many other aspects in life that I want to try out. Currently, I'm going to college for a business administration degree.
So you're going to leave this for a little bit?
I'm going to leave this for a little bit, and I have left this for a little bit. I'm back now.
Huh?
So
we're lucky we caught you.
yeah, but there's so many other things to experience and do, You can't just stick to one thing. You want to be well-rounded.
And I mean, how is this business? Is this business consistent? Does it seem to consistent people come? Or with the recession, or whatever, when the pandemic happened, when all these things, does it have problems, or is it consistent economically?
Sometimes it does have problems. For, in 2020 when COVID-19 happened, the entertainment industry did take a big hit. A lot of us were actually laid off from agencies and fair boards, and we did have to go seek income from a normal town job. We've worked for the postal service, and just like we'd go into the mall just to find a job, because we need some kind of income if people aren't able to get together. That's what entire carnival is to bring your friends, bring your family, you come ride the rides, have fun with strangers. And the COVID-19 really hurt that. It is recovering. It's on its way to recovery. But some things like that do hurt the business, yeah.
Yeah, I guess if the economy's not good and people don't have an extra disposable income, then they'll cut back on something like this versus something else.
You would think, but also
you need to escape?
It's here as an escape. It's here for entertainment purposes. That's exactly what it is for. So you make extra money and you want to treat yourself, you go to the fair.
Yeah. So one of the things, the new feature that I put in just recently was about podcasts. You drive a lot. So other than my podcast, which is the Blood Rebel Show, in case you have one thing, the other podcast that I would recommend is the Black Tapes.
The Black Tapes.
Yeah, the Black Tapes is like a mystery thing. It's a little supernatural, a little scary type thing.
Love that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's a little dark, but it's done in a way where you're like wondering, is it true? And you feel like looking up the facts. It's very, very interesting how they do that.
I'm really interested in that stuff. Being with this, I get to travel to different places, and I was in New Orleans earlier this year, and that place has a lot of history and a lot of mystery to it. So does Salem, Massachusetts. I was just out of Salem, Massachusetts.
You do like a haunted version of this?
I like both. I like the haunted version and like the criminal version, where there's a lot of mystery and a lot of what ifs. I love that kind of stuff.
So I also want to talk about investing. So one of the ideas I had for investing, this NFE, it's called. It's a new fortress energy, and it's gas infrastructure. Depending on the election goes, I think it's going to go my way. The gas infrastructure business should be very well, and it might have already been up already, but if it hasn't, it might be a good investment to look into. It's NFE out there. We also want to talk about another new topic. This is brand new. This is just one of my blog posts, which is by Rebel Productions. Untapped energy. Now think of this right now. This is very interesting.
Okay.
When you're going around on this motorcycle, when you're doing all this stuff, you burn out a lot of energy, and it goes by, disappears into space. I don't know if they could put a battery on you, and this energy that you do would go into this battery, which could then charge your phones, charge other things. Every time we move, every time we do things, we're using energy that we're not keeping in. Mm-hmm. If we go to the gym or we go on a bicycle, we're using this energy. It's going nowhere. Even though it's a small amount, but it's still energy.
It's still energy, yeah.
And there's so much untapped energy that we don't utilize. And I'm wondering if there's your business idea, make a battery that stores all this energy. and putting it somewhere that you can utilize right away.
I think there are bigger agencies that are trying to figure that out as we speak.
You never know where it starts.
It is that sounds like a very complicated technology, but it is. I mean, it shows up in movies. That new Dune movie.
Talk about Dune movie. Yeah, I heard about that too.
Basically the exact same thing, but with water. You know, they have put on their suits and they sweat, and the sweat turns into clean, drinkable water. It's kind of the exact same idea, but the way you're talking about it is you want to use energy, and that's something that's still, it's still being studied.
Yeah, that's true. We want to look into the whole motorcycle and see what this man does in real life. So let's take a view now. All right, so let me know, what is your day like? How does it start? What time you get up? What you do? How does the whole focus? How does this work with you?
Well, it all centers around what your show times are. Okay. Sometimes we have an interview. We'll do interviews as early as 4 a.m.
Wow.
With news outlets or newspaper or
how am I doing?
Entrepreneurs.
Am I more interesting than them?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is my first time being a guest on a podcast, which I think is pretty cool.
Thank you.
So you have to know your schedule, and I mean, it's life as a normal person, pretty much. It's just your job is a little bit different. And sometimes you'll wake up and you'll be in a mall parking lot, as we are now.
But were you eating breakfast in the mall parking lot, or eating in this campus?
I mean, you could probably cook yourself.
Right.
If you have money and you want to go out, then you'll go get breakfast. But that's personal preference,
Okay.
Okay. But sometimes you'll wake up in a mall parking lot, and sometimes you'll wake up right outside of Grand Canyon, Mm-hmm. And it's pretty interesting you make your coffee and you come outside and you're like, wow, this is where I am right now, Other than that, to get ready for the shows, you obviously have to set your show. You have to make sure everything's presentable and ready to go. And that's pretty much it. That's all you really have to do.
And when strange audience members that did some things that were a little weird or different out there?
Strange audience members?
People that come in the audience. I know that you ride around people. Sometimes a member can sit down and you can ride around them and stuff like that. Or?
I do not offer riding around to absolutely anyone.
Somebody I know did that part. But
I don't do that to anyone because that is a little bit dangerous.
Right.
If you're interested, I might be able to ride around you. If I'll have to make you sign something though. Just
sign my life away. Okay.
Not signing your life away. It's called the Globe of Death, but most people walk out with life.
Okay,
so you're good.
It's okay.
But I feel like that'd be a little bit interesting if you wanted to try that.
I'm willing to try it. Yeah, what the heck?
We could see if that could happen. The strangest encounter. They're all very unique. I wouldn't call them strange. I've met celebrities in the crowd. I've met, Disney stars and popular singers that come and watch the show, which is a little nerve-wracking because you'll notice them out in the crowd and you're like, oh no, am I doing a good job or not? But, they'll clap, so you feel good.
It's good to see the ones that you clap for you.
Yeah, exactly. I think there are a certain type of people that believe that they can do this. If they've ridden street bikes most of their life, they'll think, oh, I can come in, I can do this. You can't. But they're so insistent on saying that you can and that they're able to and that I should let them get in and try. I can't do that.
A little bit of arrogance.
A little bit of arrogance.
It looks too easy. Like when you're watching the skiing, you're like, oh, I could just whip around that. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, and it's completely different. You have to throw all your street knowledge away and relearn everything about a motorcycle to ride in here. I can't ride normally. I can't ride in a straight line.
Oh, really?
I can't do that.
That's funny.
But I can ride in there.
That's funny how the different experiences that make you
feel. I like to say, you give me $6,000 cash, I'll make a waiver, and I'll let you go ride in there. Why? Because $6,000 will buy me a new bike if you crash. That's what I like to say, and usually they back off after that. But that would be probably the strangest encounters that I have.
And does it get tiresome sometimes? Going long distance. And I mean, you get excited to get there, I'm sure, and you meet people, but it's a lot of traveling.
It's a lot of traveling.
And I can't imagine the conversation when you're traveling for hours and hours. I'm just being really boring, but hours and hours. Sometimes I find it hard to have a conversation with someone looking at a half an hour, but hours and hours. I mean, how do you spend the time in the vehicle traveling this? What can you do?
I like to eat snacks to keep me awake because if I'm doing something while I drive,
Wow.
Because I'll drive this trailer, this large cargo trailer. It's 32 feet long, and I'll drive the 3500 dually, and that's my rig that I ride. I do that by myself, but I get to blast music all day long.
So there's a lot of music that you like.
I listen to all types of music.
Music keeps you going.
Yes.
It does the music. Wow, I gotta listen. I gotta know your music you listen to because I fall asleep when I drive half an hour to the Bronx sometimes. It's so tiring.
See, this is something you learn too. I do 10, 11-hour jumps.
Wow.
Just straight driving, you stop for fuel, you stop to use the restroom, get food, but it keeps you awake because almost everywhere is uncharted area. You don't know where you're going through. I'm driving through
and it's a lot of
Connecticut. I've never driven through Connecticut before this year.
You get stopped by the police ever for speeding or anything?
No, you can't do that. we try to avoid that
because it's amazing. I'm gonna end on a final note today, which has something to do with you. Sometimes it's amazing how these things come about because I believe that it's important, especially in today's times when you're having troubles, when things are not great in your life. You need the escape. You need to do something that's away from your normal routine. Not saying you learn to drive a motorcycle in a ball, but go visit the man who goes in a motorcycle in the ball, or do something a little bit different, listen to different music, like I said, in movies. You just need to get out and just experience life a little out of your little normal bounds. And that way you'll feel a lot better when things are just not right. So that's what I recommend.